Hello, first of all, YouTube has deleted my subscriptions again, as I've been discovering the last few days, and once again with apropos. So, if I have not responded to people, it's probably because I didn't see your video. You can always PM me to help me through the part where I might just be spacey about it. But when the subscriptions are stopped, I should still see a reply. That's why I don't do auto approve, is so that they come up in my in my messages. But if, say, you just made a video on the topic, continuing the conversation, but not as a reply. So in that case, you can always PM me. I'll usually reply to something, even if I had seen it and not intended to, if somebody cares enough to ask um, or to bring it to my attention. But I'm not asking people to do that, and I can't promise always to answer just because of that. But I do miss these things. Anyway, subscriptions, I'm resubscribing to people. Occurs to me there's certain people I haven't seen much from, and but then I see somebody replies to them, and it just started occurring to me, hey, why am I not seeing that in the first place? First, for example, I thought with Day, I think that's his name, something like that, that he was just doing it at Blip TV, and then I looked, I'm like, that looks like it's at YouTube. But anyway, okay, apropos, I think I have a straightforward explanation for what you're going through. It is a hangover. It's a hangover from thousands of years of dogma. That meaninglessness of human judgment, that is an important feeling, and it's true, but it's about your past, not your future. And I don't mean just your past. You might say, oh no, as early as I can remember, hey, you were receiving opinions from your parents. You have received opinions from thousands, if not millions of years of human evolution. And when you have the dawning of the realization of a skeptical epistemology, that stuff can feel meaningless, but you are still suffering the lingering definition of meaning that never worked, that was given for thousands of years, because as a heuristic it could work, but as an explanation it could not work, is specifically what I meant. So it seems like, oh, now everything's meaningless, but that's not what happened. What you've just discovered is that the world is full of meaning, infinite amounts of different kinds of meaning. And people say, well, we wanted one meaning. Well, there is one, and there's another one. There's lots of ones, but we wanted just one. Well, too bad. But don't go saying there's no meaning. Don't go feeling like there's no meaning, when the problem now is that we got too much meaning. We got more meaning than we know what to do with. We have too much meaning for, SETI at home to number crunch. What are we going to do? Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, it is a dilemma. I'm being a little bit sarcastic, but really it is a dilemma. But it's not the dilemma of having no meaning. And people want to say, but I need meaning I can rely on. Okay, well, there's plenty of meaning you can rely on. Plenty, endlessly supplied meaning you can rely on. But you want just one meaning you can rely on, then it feels like many is meaningless. That's an illusion. It shouldn't even appear that way to those dogmatists. It doesn't make sense. To discover there are lots of legitimate meanings, it's not to say there are no meanings. So emotionally, if you see the material irresistibility of that conclusion that I just gave, then you'll see that you need intellectually and consciously to address your emotions. And this is why you can't act on the philosophy as you're feeling it right now, because it would be to live a meaningless life. Okay, so the issue is that you also don't fully grasp, of course, the things that you're progressing towards. One could say you never fully grasp them. And if you did, you'd want to get new things, because if you fully grasp what you're progressing toward, then you're finished, and you don't need to finish progressing. Okay. So you need to keep that in mind, I think, that, the reason the philosophy can't be acted on yet, it's not because there's some contradiction between truth and reality. It's because you haven't quite found the truth that could be acted on. Now, I will say that I think we're at the threshold of this, and I have found solutions for this. They work for me, but at the threshold of something like this, it's very difficult to say what's going to work for people in general. Okay, but I have no problem embracing my personal meanings. I have no problem setting those aside as much as I can, and considering my needs in terms of being a part of a family. So my needs for the family, what I want that family to accomplish, and other groups, and all of these meanings exist. And when they contradict, I can try to get them in alignment so that the needs of the family are similar to the needs of me. But hey, I might think, hey, the family needs a hero to sacrifice himself, so my needs to survive are going to be consciously and purposefully set aside so that I can work on the survival of a family, for example. Okay, but in general, that is the aligning, because in that case, I will say, well, my personal need to have the family survive is just stronger than my personal need for me to personally continue to survive. So, it's basically a hangover of getting over an old epistemology. We're in a jungle full of meaning. And if you look out on that, it feels like, oh, it's just a desert. Because you're basically saying in some way or another, all of that life, that doesn't matter. Underneath it is just dead stone, and that's what's really here. Okay, that's a psychological situation. That's not what you're looking at. You're looking at a jungle full, packed fucking full of meaning. And that's not meaninglessness. It's cup flowing over with meaning.